Welcome to Texas A&M Commerce School of Social Work. My name is Marcella Smith, and I am the MSW Program Director and Advisor, as well as an Assistant Professor. I will be your host for this orientation today, but if you have any questions or concerns, there will be contact information provided to you so that you can reach out to someone to get your questions answered. Some exciting news about our profession. Our profession is such a broad profession. There's so many different opportunities working in the field of social work, and MSWs is definitely in demand in Texas as well as other places in the country. There are so many different opportunities in working in this field. So there's so many different areas that you can work in. For example, you can work in a school setting, or you can work in mental health, or you can work with the elderly or a healthcare setting, depending on what you're interested in. There's so many different opportunities that you can use your MSW degree for. Today's orientation, so you're here today to meet the requirements of the graduate school and accreditation requirements, and to make sure that all our students are getting the same information. So when you're taking all your classes online, you don't get that face-to-face component, and we wanted to make sure all our students are getting the same information. Therefore, we're providing this online orientation. So some of the things that we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk a little bit about the School of Social Work. We're going to talk about some specifics for the curriculum. We're going to talk about graduate school and department requirements or policies and expectations, and some other information as well. So the A&M School of Social Work is located in the College of Education and Human Services. We offer a BSW program that is offered on the main campus as well as the Mesquite campus. The MSW Foundation or Generalist program is offered online only at the moment. We also have an MSW Advanced Generalist, which is offered on the main campus. Courses are offered from 9 to 9 on Mondays. We're also offering on the Mesquite campus, if you're taking classes on the Mesquite campus, those classes are offered on Tuesdays from 9 to 9. And we also have the Check Center, which is offered on Thursdays from 9 to 9. And the Check Center is generally offered when we have a need for it. So for the past 2 semesters, we haven't had enough students interested in that location to have classes offered. So we have to have, if we have the number of students needed for that class, then that is also an option. And then we also have the option to take all your classes online starting in summer of 2020. The mission statement of the university, or Texas A&M University Commerce School of Social Work's Master's Program, is to educate the professional social workers from an advanced generalist perspective with knowledge, skills, and values to be visionary leaders and change agents who will utilize and develop resources to improve the lives of all people in the global world. So we're preparing students to have a broad background. We want students to have knowledge and the skills needed to work in different areas of social work, whether it is to work direct practice, whether it is to work in administration or the community. Students leave with all the skills needed to work in any of those areas. We are also accredited by the SACS, which is the Southern Association Council of Schools, as well as we're fully accredited by the Council in Social Work Education. And you may wonder, why is this important? Well, in Texas and a lot of other states in the country, you cannot call yourself a social worker or even work in a job that's titled a social worker unless you're a licensed master social worker. So that means that you have to get an MSW degree from a program that is accredited by CSWE. There's a lot of programs out there who are not accredited. So if you did get your degree from them, you wouldn't be able to sit for the exam. And so we're very proud of our program that we are accredited by the CSWE, and our students are definitely able to, if they graduate with our degree, they're able to sit for the exam and be licensed as a social worker. Here's a list of our current faculty. Dr. Rebecca Judd is our department head, an associate professor. Mr. Brian Brumley is our field director. He is the person in charge of anything related to field. He will be the one making sure each and every one of you have a field placement, and any questions and concerns about that he would be the one that would handle that. Dr. Linda Openshaw is also a professor, and you may have her for classes. Miss Norris, she's the BSW director and advisor. She also teaches, I think, an elective in the master's program, so therefore it's a possibility that you may have her. All the other professors, Dr. Brunel, Ms. Hernandez, Dr. May, Dr. Mercado Sierra, Dr. Moore, those are all professors that teach in the program, and if you may have them for classes. Miss Dawn Nelson, she is an instructor as well, but she teaches at the Mesquite campus. So if you're taking classes there, you would have her. But if you're taking classes at the other locations, you would not have her as an instructor. And then we have myself, and I'm the MSW director and advisor, like I mentioned earlier. So any questions about the program, you would reach out to me for those. Here's some other social work staff. Miss Vicki Anderson, she is our department administrative associate and field coordinator. She works very closely with Mr. Brumley in terms of your field placement. So she can also answer questions regarding field. And then we have Miss Janice Circles, who is our BSW MSW admissions programs coordinator and Title IV assistant. So both of them are very helpful and provide support to faculty, and they're also available to answer any questions or concerns that you may have. Here are some other information regarding how to reach us in terms of faculty. We have a main line, and we also have a website that you can get information about the program or classes. We're providing direct lines to specific instructors, and most instructors have a phone. However, email is always the best way to reach them, just because we have multiple campuses and professors are traveling a lot of times to multiple campuses and may not be in their office where they do have a phone. So it may be a lot faster to reach out to them through email. And also, when you do email, do expect to at least be patient to hear back from them. They may not always be able to just respond immediately or even the same day. Sometimes it may take a day or two before they can reach out to you. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the focus and sequence of the curriculum. So the way our program is set up and classes are scheduled, classes are offered during specific semester, and as long as you follow the degree plan, you won't have any problems staying on track. But whenever you make any changes or are unsuccessful in the class, then there may be some challenges in terms of staying on track and without it, and it will affect your graduation date. So just as long as you stay with your degree plan and follow those follow the sequence of the courses, then you should be fine. We're going to talk about AGP concentration because that's what you will be doing. The focus of the generalist practice is to prepare advanced practitioners for professional practice that consists of critical thinking skills, theoretical frameworks of human relationships, and differential interventions at all levels or system levels, including the micro, meso, and macro, and it may be in rural or urban environments. So the advanced generalist curriculum consists of 36 semester credit hours for your concentration year. This has a focus in providing in-depth knowledge of practice models for working with individuals and families, working with groups, organizations, or communities. So as you can see, the focus is to work in a variety of settings and a variety of levels, so it provides different opportunities to not only work in direct practice, but whether you want to work with individuals or groups, or if you want to work in your individual practice, or if you want to be a supervisor, if you want to work within the community. There's so many different options in terms of our generalist curriculum. We also hope to provide advanced skills to address complex indirect practice issues, including supervision, administration, policy, practice, and program evaluation. So whether you are interested in working in policy, knowledge about policy, knowledge about program evaluation, which is our research component, working as a supervisor or in administration, all of these skills you will learn in our program. So other skills include increasing your capacity to build or link scarce resources in the environment. As you know, social work has scarce resources. The organizations and agencies that serve people in our communities, or resources are scarce. In the social work field, we're always fighting over resources. So one thing you learn is to increase that capacity in order to build or link scarce resources, learning how to work with the resources you do have and working with others to share those resources. Another skill would be competence to use and engage in evidence-based practice. Evidence-based practice is very important, and you will learn how important research is and how to do that and how to be able to engage in those practices in order to provide services for your clients. Readiness for leadership and program development. So you will be ready to take leadership roles. The advanced standing curriculum. So if you have a BSW degree, or if you have completed the first 24 hours of foundation curriculum, you are in advanced standing. So the advanced standing consists of 12 classes, which is a total of 36 hours. These are offered in Commerce, Mesquite, and McKinney based on the need, as well as online starting in summer 2020. All right, so now we're going to touch a little bit on your degree plans. So if you are attending part-time, you will take 2 classes each semester. So for semester 1, you would be taking, and if you're starting in the fall, you would be taking 508, 509. But if you're starting in the spring, you would be taking 505, 506. Then you'll be taking 507, 510 in the summer. For your second year, then you would go into 590, 554. Second year semester spring would be 595, 554, and then the last semester summer would be 597, 554. So if you are doing part-time, it will take, so it takes you 2 full years if you're doing part-time, because you're only taking two classes each semester. If you're doing it full-time, then it changes a little bit and it's only 1 year. So in the fall, you would take 508, 509, 590, 554. Then in the spring, you would take 505, 506, 595, and 554. And then the final semester in the summer, you would be taking, 507, 510, 597, and 554. So as you notice, field, you're taking a full year of field, so each semester you're taking a field. If you were doing it part-time, you wouldn't be taking field in your first semester. So if you're starting in the spring, you would just follow the spring semester classes. And one more thing that I forgot to say from the previous slides, as long as you stay on track with those classes, whether you're part-time or whether you're full-time, as long as you stay and take those classes, you should be fine. However, if there's any changes, if you drop the class, or if you were unsuccessful in the class, or if you decided to go from part-time to full-time, that changes your graduation date. And as you can see, our classes are only offered in a specific semester. Therefore, if you make a change in one semester, then you will see that you wouldn't be able to take that class until the following year. Now for registration, all our students must be permitted for all the social work classes each and every semester. So if you're not a social work student, you would not be able to get into these classes. So students are permitted for this class. So that helps us manage our classroom size and also be prepared to know how many students we'll have total. So there's never a worry in terms of, oh, am I going to get into a class or not? Because we permit you to be in a class. Therefore, we know how many people we have and how classes will be scheduled. You will email your permit request to Ms. Janice Circles. She will actually email you a worksheet for you to say, or for you to let us know what classes you're taking. And once you get that completed, you would email it to her and she will send you your permit. That way you can register for classes. So the only classes that you would have to take in a sequence is our research class. So the first research class is 590, which must be completely or successfully completed by the semester immediately prior to your second research class, which is social work 595. So social work 595 has to be taken the semester immediately following 590. So the first semester of research will be 590, the second semester would be 595. The thing with this is if you took 590 and you were not successful with the class or you dropped the class, you would not be able to take 595 the next semester. That would mean that you would, the next semester, you would have to retake 590 if it's offered that semester. And then the following semester, you would take 595. Here are some important information about your degree plans. Your degree plan is your guide to completing the program. So any changes or modifications that you make will delay or even alter your completion of the program and graduation. So I think we talked about this earlier. Any changes that you make, whether you go from full-time to part-time or part-time to full-time, or if you drop the class, or if you were unsuccessful in the class, anything like that will affect your graduation date because, like I mentioned before, classes are only offered a certain semester. And so if any of those changes happen, then you'll see how it can affect when you'll be able to take those classes, therefore affecting your graduation date. All your coursework on your degree plan must be completed, or you have to be in your final semester before you can apply for graduation. So your very last semester, you would apply for graduation. And because of the way the classes are set up, we do request that any changes that you may have, that you may place in writing a full semester prior to changes. So any changes that you plan on making, you need to put that in writing the semester before those changes will occur. And for that, you need to contact me, Dr. Marcella Smith. Reach out to me, send me an email, and just let me know what changes you're planning on doing, and I will reach out to you and kind of give you your options and kind of explain to you what these changes will mean and how it will affect graduation or your completion of the program. All right, so your degree plan changes can be any variation or changes to the original signed degree plan that you will get at the end of orientation today. So at the end of orientation, you will be able to download and fill out as well as sign your degree plan. So let's say you filled out your degree plan and you decided you had planned that you were gonna do full-time, but something happened after that and you decided, oh, I can only do part-time. So if you make those changes, then you'll need to make sure that you reach out to me and let me know of those changes. Other changes can be campus location, status change from part-time to full-time, or even full-time to part-time, any courses that you may need to retake, or if you decided to defer a semester, any changes that you plan on making or that you end up making after you sign the degree plan, you will need to reach out to me as the MSW director to be able to help you ensure that you clearly understand the effects of those changes. It is your responsibility to stay on track with the degree plan. So once you download that degree plan, that is your guide. You need to hold on to it, keep it safe. You will not get another copy of it. So it's really your responsibility to make sure that you keep it in a safe place and be able to have it to review, as each semester to show or to keep track of how you're progressing in the program. Here are just some important dates that are helpful to know. The last day to register without any late fees is January 24th. January 30th is the first day of the spring semester. January 29th is the spring census date. I guess that may have changed. So you will be provided with that information later on. Anything that's on here that may have changed, we will make sure that you have that information. The last day of the spring semester is May 1st. Finals week is May 2nd through 8th. May 8th is your graduation date for those who are graduating. And the thing with the census date is just where faculty provide a report showing whether students have attended classes or not up to that point. So generally, that is usually after classes have started. So I will make sure that you guys have that information. But classes start on January 30th, and that it is the expectation that all students, attend classes. All students log into their online platform and make sure that they're checking into their courses, especially if it's online as well, making sure that they're logging into their courses. Each professor will have different requirements in terms of what is required as participation or as engagement in each course. So you will need to log into your classes and be aware of all those expectations. We also provide a calendar, the web address to the calendar, so you can always click on that and get updated information on any dates or any changes that may happen. Okay, so we're going to touch a little bit on program and graduate school policies. We're going to start off with academic standing. So what is academic standing? Or what are our policies on academic standing? So you cannot get a grade of C or lower in any of your field courses. So you have to have a GPA of 3.0 to graduate. So if your GPA falls below a 3.0, you're going to be placed on academic probation, and you have to raise your GPA to a 3.0 or higher by the end of the following semester. If a student gets a grade of C or lower in 4 graduate courses, they will be suspended for 3 years. So it's really important that you keep up with your grades. You're only allowed to have 3 C's throughout the entire program. So if you got a 4th C, you would be suspended for 3 years. And if your GPA falls below a 3.0, you would not be able to graduate with a social work degree. So let's say your GPA drops to a 2.9, you still wouldn't be able to graduate with a social work degree. So please monitor your grades and just always, be aware of your progression and make sure that your GPA is at least a 3.0. You can always retake classes to change it from a C to get a higher grade. But once you do get 3 C's, you would have to, once you get 4 C's, you will definitely have to retake the 4th C that you got, or at least retake one of those C's to get, because you're only allowed to have 3 C's in the program. The graduate school requires that all students pass or satisfactorily pass a comprehensive exam that covers all the work within their master's degree program. So we provide our MSW students to take the comprehensive exam. So we provide an exam that mirrors the licensure exam. So that way to help prepare students for when they do take the licensure exam. This exam is taken the semester you're graduating. So that semester that you're applying for graduation is also the semester that you would be taking the MSW comprehensive exam. Now, the comprehensive exam consists of 100 objective questions covering the CSWE competencies. We do have study guides that are available in the library, and those are at our physical library we have it at the main campus as well as the Mesquite campus. There are only 2 dates scheduled each semester for that exam. So each semester you're provided with 2 dates where you can take that exam. You can sign up to take it the first date or the second date, or if you wanted to just take it the first date to make sure that you have an opportunity to retake it if you needed to, you can, but if you just wanted to take it the second date, you also have that option as well. You must get a score of 70 to pass the comprehensive exam. So you get 2 chances to take the exam and complete or successfully complete it. If you're unsuccessful in 2 attempts, then you can petition the graduate school for a third and final time to retake the comp exam the following semester. So if in that given semester, you're only able to take the exam 2 times. So if you were not successful on your second attempt, you would not be able to retake that exam that same semester. You would have to petition the graduate school, and once that is approved, then you would be able to take it the following semester. So even if you're done with all your classes and everything, you would have to come back the next semester. You wouldn't have to register for classes or enroll in anything. You would just come back and take the exam. All right, so some expected conduct in the graduate school. Let's talk about how you can assimilate into the profession and some ethical practices. As an MSW student, you are expected to apply by certain guidelines and behave in a certain manner. So we follow the code of ethics, and there will be a code of ethics that you can download as well. Here's the link provided. You will actually have to download and acknowledge or sign that you did read those as part of this orientation as well. Also, as an MSW student, there are some things that are required of you. Class attendance is mandatory. So whether it's online or face-to-face, you still have to be engaged in your class, and being online is a little different than just coming to class. There are different requirements for being online, and different instructors may have different requirements in terms of what is considered participation and what is considered engaging in the class. There are 3 components of participation: appropriate verbal and nonverbal interactions with others. So when it comes to verbal interactions, so working in the field, when you start your field placement, you will be, interacting with other people outside of the online class. You will need to interact with, for example, some assignments may require you to do interviews or attend certain events, and that would be another way where you can participate in verbal interactions with others. Nonverbal interactions would be during your discussion boards and making sure that you're still providing appropriate interactions in that manner as well. Active involvement in your class activities includes, making sure that you're involved in assignments as well as class activities. So not necessarily for a grade, but different instructors may have different activities that are offered, whether it's face-to-face or whether it's offered in the online platform. So just making sure that you're involved in those activities. And then finally, attentiveness. So making sure that you're engaged in your classes, whether they're online or face-to-face. Especially online, it's a lot harder to make sure that you understand everything that's going on because you don't have that physical or face-to-face interaction with your instructor or your peers. But you still have to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. You have to make sure you're checking your syllabus, making sure you check your emails, and making sure you stay attentive to what's going on in the classroom or in the online platform. Acceptable behavior and interactions with others inside and outside the classroom. So always being aware of your behavior and making sure that whether you're in the classroom or not, you're still representing an MSW student in A&M Commerce, and you have to be aware of your interactions with others. Courtesy for your instructor and others. Always be respectful to people you interact with, whether it's your professor, whether it's your peers, whether it's people in the community, people in your field agency. And then seeking and responding appropriately to written and verbal feedback of instructors and others. So throughout the program, you are going to get feedback, and whether it's the written feedback or something that someone says to you, you just take it as constructive feedback, right? And just respond to it appropriately. You may not always like what the feedback is, but just know that it's a learning experience and you're here to learn, and those feedbacks should be looked at as a helpful way for you to learn. Electronic communication. There are some expectations when it comes to electronic communication. You still need to maintain professionalism, be respectful in those communications, whether it's through email or text or social media. You still need to be aware of how you're responding and the messages that you're communicating, the messages that you're sending out when it comes to email or text, or especially social media. A lot of times students don't realize that social media is also a form of communication, and it still reflects on you as a student and as a student at A&M Commerce. So you always need to be aware of that and be respectful when it comes to those forms of communication as well. Another part of conduct has to do with academic dishonesty. Just don't do it. There are policies that we have to follow. We have the department policy as well as graduate school policy, but academic dishonesty can mean different things. It can mean unintentionally plagiarizing a paper. Maybe sometimes an example is that students think it's okay to use a paper that they've used in a different class or a different program, and that is okay, but it is not. You cannot use your paper from one class to another class. Another form of academic dishonesty is plagiarism in terms of using information and not citing it correctly, or cheating on a test. Anything like that is considered academic dishonesty. And with the graduate school, you get 2 incidents, and if after 2 incidents, you're dismissed from the university. So just don't do it, guys. It's not, it just kind of reflects on you as well. In the field of social work, you are going to be working with vulnerable clients, and you're going to be working in areas where you have to provide documentation. And if you are dishonest during your education, that just shows that, you're going to be dishonest in the field as well. So just don't do it. Just think about the whole ethics and the policies and what the field stands for, and just make sure that you're following those requirements. If you're unsure, there is a textbook, well, not a textbook, but there is a book that provides information on plagiarism, and most of our classes use it, or even require it. Some classes may even require you to have that book as well. But if you don't have the book, there's always online resources on plagiarism, and you can use that if you're unsure about something. And if you're unsure, always reach out to your professors. They can answer those questions. It's better for you to reach out and ask a question about something you're unsure of, or even double check on something, rather than you just assume that it's correct and then it's not. Okay, so sorry. In terms of electronic devices and communication, we request that you set your electronic communication devices on silent mode during classes. So if you have an emergency that may interfere with class, or ahead of time that you are expecting a phone call that you have to take, just make sure you talk to your instructor at the beginning of class and just let them know that you'll be expecting that phone call, and that way they know ahead of time and you can take that call with the least disruption as possible. Some additional information and resources. If you need any type of accommodation, you will need to go through the academic support committee. So any special accommodations that you may need, you will make sure you will need to make sure that you reach out to that committee. Individual instructors cannot provide those accommodations to you unless we get something in writing from that committee. So once you reach out to them, they usually send out information to each instructor that you're having that semester, and that way they're aware of your accommodations and are able to provide that. Here's some additional resources. We have the university homepage, MyLeo. Check your emails constantly, especially in online classes. That's the only form of communication that your instructor has, and so you will miss important information if you're not constantly checking your MyLeo email. There's also the library database that you can use for resources. You don't have to pay for any articles or anything. All those resources are available to you for free, and so please take advantage of those as well. So what's the cost to attend A&M Commerce? So we have one of the most cost-effective programs, or probably the most cost-effective programs in the area. It does not matter where you get your MSW degree from. There's no prestige in one school over the other. All the programs are accredited by CSWE, and so it does not matter which school that's accredited by CSWE you get your degree from, because they all have the same accreditation. So there's no point in paying $80,000 to get your degree, your MSW degree, when you can get it for less. Here are some information on financial aid. So there's phone numbers or mailing address or even a website that you can reach out to someone for questions, and all information that you need regarding financial aid. Here are the resources for you to get that. All right, field orientation. I'm not going to talk about field because Mr. Bromley is the field coordinator, field director. He will reach out to you guys in terms of field. Here's the contact information for Mr. Bromley as well as Miss Anderson. They both work on this. Miss Anderson works closely with Mr. Bromley in field and is able to answer any questions that you may have. So you will have to take a separate orientation for field, and that's why it's not included in this orientation. So now that you have finished listening to the orientation, you will need to locate the content area in this orientation model. You will need to download the orientation acknowledge form, the student conduct or code of conduct form, and the degree plan. Whether you're part-time or full-time, you'll select that specific one. And so once you do that, you also need to download and complete these forms. You can complete them electronically by typing in your name in the name line, and that constitutes your legal signature and acknowledgement of these forms. Once you get those completed, you're going to email them to Miss Janice Circles, and once she gets those forms, she will begin the process to permit you for class registration. So once you complete your orientation, both this one and the field one, you'll be able to download those forms, and then you'll also need to make sure that you email it to Miss Janice Circles. That way she can verify that you've completed the orientation, and she will permit you for classes. All right, once again, I want to thank you for choosing Texas A&M University Commerce as your choice for earning your MSW degree, and welcome to our outstanding program. I can't wait to see you in the program. It's a possibility that I may even have you in class. So once again, thank you for choosing A&M Commerce, and welcome to our program.